Only a handful of nations on Earth command the oceans with floating air bases, massive ships that carry fighter jets and shape global power. Today, we're diving into every country that operates an aircraft carrier, from regional giants to nuclear-powered supercarriers. And the nation at number 1? It has more carriers than the rest of the world combined. Aircraft carriers are the most powerful ships at sea, floating air bases capable of traveling anywhere on the planet. Yet only a handful of nations possess them. Building and operating one demands enormous budgets, trained pilots, and intricate logistics. And while many navies field ships with flight decks, true aircraft carriers remain far more rare. Today, we're taking a closer look at every nation that operates an aircraft carrier and the role these vessels play in their naval strength. We'll start with the countries that have just one, and end with the nation that operates more carriers than the rest of the world combined. Let's begin. At number 9 is Spain. In the blue waters of the Mediterranean Sea, near the port of Rota, sits a ship with a striking silhouette, long, broad, and crowned with a flight deck that slopes upward toward the bridge. This is the Juan Carlos I, Spain's only aircraft carrier. Its deck feels like an open plaza at sea, designed for both helicopters and fighter jets. But this vessel is not a traditional carrier. Beneath its surface lies a well dock, enabling amphibious landings and making the ship uniquely adaptable. The Juan Carlos I is built for versatility. It can carry marines, vehicles, and landing craft, yet still launch fighter jets like the AV-8B Harrier. In the future, it may support the F-35B, the jet famed for its vertical takeoff and landing ability. Spain deploys the ship in NATO exercises, peacekeeping missions, and humanitarian operations, not for global dominance, but as a regional asset with meaningful maritime capability. Its air group shifts depending on mission needs: Harriers, transport helicopters, maritime patrol aircraft, providing the flexibility to intervene, assist, or secure when required. For Spain, the Juan Carlos I stands as a symbol of multipurpose strength, fitting seamlessly within broader European naval cooperation. At number 8, we have Italy. Along Italy's western coast near Taranto lies the country's largest naval vessel and the flagship of the Italian Navy, the Cavour. Its spacious flight deck rises into a ski jump at the bow, helping light fighter jets launch into the air. Today, Harriers often sit parked on the deck, but they'll soon be replaced by F-35Bs. Below the deck is a network of hangars, weapons storage, and maintenance facilities, everything engineered for rapid deployment from the sea. Italy uses the Cavour not only for combat operations but also for humanitarian missions, evacuations, and multinational exercises. It serves as a diplomatic presence at sea, representing Italy across the Mediterranean, the Red Sea, and the Indian Ocean. Italy also fields a second carrier, the Giuseppe Garibaldi, older, smaller, and now focused primarily on helicopters and training. Together, the pair offers a flexible combination: Cavour for advanced air operations, and Garibaldi as additional capacity when needed. The Cavour's air group includes F-35Bs, NH-90 helicopters, and AW-101S, aircraft capable of strike missions, transport, and anti-submarine warfare. For Italy, this isn't about global dominance. It's about solid capability within NATO and a credible role in international coalitions. Compact and efficient, the Cavour answers the modern demands of a European naval power. At number 7, we have France. In the deep waters of the Eastern Atlantic, near the naval base in Toulon, sails a ship unmatched anywhere else in Europe: steel gray, nuclear-powered, and radiating quiet force. This is the Charles de Gaulle, France's only aircraft carrier and the world's only nuclear-powered carrier outside the United States. Its flat, angular flight deck features 2 aircraft elevators and catapults capable of launching Rafale M fighters at combat speed. It uses a true catabar system, catapult-assisted takeoff and arrested recovery, something only a few navies can operate. The Charles de Gaulle is one of the central instruments of French foreign policy. It has deployed to the Middle East, the Indian Ocean, and the Mediterranean. Whether for counterterrorism, deterrence, or power projection, it gives France the ability to act independently, alone or alongside allies. Its air group carries around 30 aircraft, primarily Rafales, along with E-2C Hawkeye early warning planes and NH-90 helicopters. That's enough to conduct precision strikes, secure air superiority, or run surveillance missions far beyond French shores. Supported by a full strike group of frigates, submarines, and a supply vessel, all under unified command, the Charles de Gaulle grants France autonomous global reach. It is more than a military platform. It is a floating symbol of national independence, industrial excellence, and global influence. At number 6, we have Japan. Off the coast of Yokosuka, a sleek gray vessel glides across the sea with measured precision. Its deck stretches long and unobstructed, looking unmistakably like a small aircraft carrier. This is the JS Izumo, one of 2 Japanese helicopter destroyers now being upgraded for jet operations. Originally built to carry helicopters for anti-submarine warfare, the Izumo is being transformed to accommodate F-35B fighter jets, aircraft capable of short takeoff and vertical landing. The sister ship, the JS Kaga, is undergoing the same conversion. Officially, Japan still labels these ships as helicopter destroyers, but their role is shifting quietly, cautiously. Japan is reintroducing fixed-wing aviation to its fleet for the first time since World War II. The Izumo's flight deck has been widened and reinforced with heat-resistant coatings to withstand the F-35B's intense exhaust, and internal hangars have been reconfigured to maintain and support stealth aircraft. Japan views these ships as tools for regional defense. They're not meant for distant wars but for operations close to home, in the East China Sea, around Okinawa, and along critical sea lanes. Each carrier can field a compact but capable air wing, F-35Bs for air patrol, SH-60 helicopters for tracking submarines, and support aircraft for maritime surveillance. For Japan, the Izumo class marks a cautious return to carrier aviation, not an emblem of aggression, but a versatile platform in a region where tensions are steadily and quietly rising. At number 5, we have India. In the Arabian Sea, just off the coast of Kochi, a new giant glides across the blue horizon. Painted in naval gray with its island tower rising sharply above the flight deck, this is the INS Vikrant, India's first aircraft carrier built entirely at home. Commissioned in 2022, the Vikrant stands as a milestone of national achievement. It joins the INS Vikramaditya, a Russian-built carrier already serving in the fleet. Together, they give India something rare in the modern world, a 2-carrier navy. The Vikrant uses a ski-jump launch system, enabling short takeoff jets like the MiG-29K to operate from its deck. Below, spacious hangars can hold up to 30 aircraft, a balanced mix of fighters and helicopters designed for air defense, anti-submarine warfare, and maritime patrol. India's carriers are purpose-built for the Indian Ocean, a vast, strategically vital region that carries much of the world's trade and is now increasingly contested. With its carriers, India projects influence from the Strait of Malacca in the east to the Persian Gulf in the west. The Vikrant isn't nuclear-powered, and many of its systems are still being refined, but its construction marks a turning point. A modern carrier built in India, by Indian engineers, for India's long-term maritime strategy. Its air wing includes MiG-29Ks and helicopters like the Ka-31, with plans to introduce new carrier-based fighters and advanced drones in the near future. For India, aircraft carriers serve as more than military platforms. They're statements of ambition, deterrence, and prestige, visible reminders that India intends to play a defining role across the waters of the Indo-Pacific. At number 4, we have Russia. In the icy port of Murmansk, surrounded by frozen docks and towering cranes, rests a ship that has become more myth than operational reality. The Admiral Kuznetsov, Russia's lone aircraft carrier. A product of the late Soviet era and now undergoing an extremely prolonged and troubled refit, the Kuznetsov remains imposing, yet undeniably outdated. The carrier doesn't use catapults. Instead, it relies on a ski jump to launch aircraft, with Su-33s and MiG-29Ks forming its air wing. Its deck features arrestor cables for landing but lacks an angled runway, a reflection of its hybrid identity. Half carrier, half missile cruiser. Officially classified as a heavy aircraft-carrying cruiser, it carries both fighter jets and heavy anti-ship missiles, a distinctly Russian attempt to merge sea and air firepower into a single vessel. The Kuznetsov has participated in only a few major deployments, including a high-profile mission to the Mediterranean during operations in Syria. But that mission exposed its weaknesses: mechanical breakdowns, thick smoke from aging engines, and even aircraft losses due to failing arrestor systems. Since 2017, the carrier has remained in dry dock, undergoing an overhaul repeatedly delayed by accidents, funding issues, and several fires. Today, its return to active service remains uncertain. Still, Russia keeps the Kuznetsov not for power projection across distant oceans, but for symbolism. In a navy dominated by submarines and surface combatants, the Kuznetsov stands as a relic of Soviet-era ambition and a reminder that Russia still seeks the prestige of a blue-water navy. At number 3, we have China. In the waters near Qingdao, a gray silhouette moves with deliberate confidence, flanked by escorts and watched from above by drones. This is the Shandong, one of China's 3 active aircraft carriers and the first ever built entirely within China's borders. China's rise as a carrier power has been rapid and methodical. Its first carrier, the Liaoning, began life as a leftover Soviet hull purchased from Ukraine. After years of refitting, it entered service in 2012. The Shandong followed in 2019, a near-twin in design, but with refinements that improved its reliability and efficiency. Now, a third carrier, the Fujian, has entered sea trials, and this one marks a significant leap forward. It's larger, more technologically advanced, and equipped with electromagnetic catapults, an innovation that places it closer to the capabilities of the most modern U.S. carriers. Both the Liaoning and Shandong rely on ski jump systems, limiting the weight and range of aircraft like the J-15, China's primary carrier fighter. But the Fujian changes everything. With its catapult-assisted launch system, China steps closer to American-style carrier operations. More capable, more flexible, and far more ambitious. China's carriers aren't global forces, at least not yet. They operate mainly in the South China Sea and the Western Pacific, close to contested waters and under the umbrella of land-based support. But their purpose is unmistakable. China intends to project power from the sea. Each carrier holds roughly 40 aircraft, a mix of fighters, helicopters, and early warning platforms. For China, carriers are not just defensive tools, they're instruments of presence, influence, and strategic depth. Floating air bases that push the Chinese flag far beyond the mainland in a region where naval strength increasingly shapes the balance of power. At number 2 is the United Kingdom. In the cold, gray waters of the North Sea, a massive silhouette moves through the mist with steady grace. This is HMS Queen Elizabeth, the Royal Navy's flagship and one of the most advanced aircraft carriers ever built. Alongside her sister ship, HMS Prince of Wales, she represents Britain's return to true carrier strike capability. Both ships are modern giants with dual-island superstructures, a distinctive layout that separates ship command from flight operations. They launch F-35B stealth fighters via ski jump ramps, jets capable of short takeoff and vertical landing. No catapults, no arrestor wires, just cutting-edge aircraft vaulting into the sky. These carriers were designed with interoperability in mind. British and American jets can operate from their decks, and the ships regularly deploy alongside NATO forces. Each vessel can carry up to 36 aircraft, a mix of F-35Bs and Merlin helicopters for anti-submarine warfare. They sail with their own strike groups of destroyers, frigates, submarines, and supply ships, forming the backbone of the UK's maritime power. HMS Queen Elizabeth has already seen combat operations, launching missions over Iraq and Syria in 2021. Prince of Wales, meanwhile, focuses on training, NATO commitments, and Arctic operations. For Britain, these carriers are more than floating runways. They represent global reach, alliance leadership, and industrial resurgence. A reminder that the UK still sails with purpose and presence. And at number 1, of course, is the United States. No nation comes close. Across 2 oceans, from Norfolk to Yokosuka, the United States operates 11 aircraft carriers, more than the rest of the world combined. These aren't typical carriers. They are supercarriers, nuclear-powered titans stretching nearly 330 meters. They can stay at sea for months, even years, without refueling. More than 5,000 sailors, aviators and technicians live and work aboard each one. A true floating city with wings. 10 of these giants are Nimitz-class carriers. But the newest, the USS Gerald, are Ford, ushers in a new generation. With electromagnetic catapults, MALs, advanced radar, and fully automated weapons elevators, she launches aircraft faster and safer than any carrier before her. U.S. carriers use Cavour systems, catapult-assisted takeoff, and barrier-arrested recovery. This enables them to launch fully loaded F divided by a -18s E-2D Hawkeyes, and soon, the F-35C, the Navy's carrier-capable stealth jet. Each supercarrier can operate around 70 aircraft, fighters, electronic warfare planes, surveillance platforms, and more. Beneath the flight deck sit medical facilities, machine shops, and full command centers, giving them unmatched independence on extended missions. Every carrier forms the core of a carrier strike group, a coordinated force of destroyers, cruisers, submarines, and support vessels. For the United States, aircraft carriers aren't just warships. They're instruments of diplomacy, tools of deterrence, and unmistakable symbols of maritime supremacy. From compact regional carriers to nuclear-powered supercarriers, each vessel reflects how a nation imagines itself at sea. Was your country on the list? Let us know in the comments and tell us where you're watching from and which nation you think should build an aircraft carrier next. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe for more maritime stories. And if you want to go one step further to support the channel directly, consider joining the fleet. You'll get loyalty badges, priority replies, and help us surface even more true naval stories. Just click Join on our channel page and hop aboard. And remember, aircraft carriers may be enormous, but finding a parking spot in port, that's still a nightmare. I'll see you in the next one.